So we've been saying that we want to refine ourselves. I just want to be really refined human beings, and I just told about 8 stories of extremely high level, highly refined human beings. And that's what it means to be a tzaddik, and I'm proud of you for being here at 9:30 on Sunday morning. What do you think most of your friends your age are doing 9:30 on Sunday morning? Not doing this, I'll tell you that much. They're probably just getting to bed at this point. So he said that we have this thing called Ahava, which means love, and we can use it for the good or for the bad. Love of physical pleasures. So he said what we want to do is we want to, unlike some religions which say to separate from physical pleasures, we want to enjoy the physical pleasures but with a higher intention in mind. We don't want to neglect ourselves. But, for example, when we eat, it says we want to eat to keep ourselves strong and healthy. Don't eat stuff that's not good for you. Even if they taste nice. Something that tastes nice but is unhealthy, don't eat that. It's not. Now, we said this last time, you can once in a while, but in general, you got to look after it. Take care of your goof. For 2 reasons. Firstly, just for the physical health reasons, but secondly, also for taiva. We spoke about taiva a lot. Taiva means physical craving. So lots of people are driven just by physical craving. So why are you eating that sweet, nice thing? Just because I want to. And the more you feed that power of animalistic physical craving, the stronger you make the pull of your body over the pull of your soul. And the louder you make the voice of your body over the voice of your soul. Now, Judaism says don't neglect the body. You want a strong, healthy, good body because it's a vehicle for the soul. But the more you are feeding the body what is not good for it, but I'm just doing it because it's tasty, the more you're giving the animalistic side of yourself strength. And you're quietening the spiritual side. So you've got to get the balance. So some people say, therefore, don't feed the body at all. Judaism says, no, you should in the right way. And we said with physical intimacy, in the West, whatever you can, in the East, none. Because I don't want to be drawn down into that lustful desire. And Judaism says, no, there's a place for that. But not from a place of lust, from a place of love, from a place of giving. It's really not from a place of getting pleasure, it's from a place of giving pleasure. And even the pleasure of physical intimacy isn't the goal. The goal of physical intimacy isn't pleasure, it's emotional connection. The pleasure that people have, married couples have, in physical intimacy, the purpose of that pleasure is to create more of a close, emotional, intimate connection with each other. So if you're going into it in an animalistic way just because I need to get my pleasure, very unhealthy. But we don't say don't do it. You're meant to do it in the right way. So we've really been going through everything and saying that we have to know how to do it in a conscious way and in a refined way. And it's a much higher level to be able to be engaged in the world without getting sucked in than to go and sit in a cave and not get engaged in the world. It's a much higher level to overcome your ego when there are people around you who are quite annoying and difficult circumstances than it is to overcome your ego when you're sitting in a cave and there's no one to annoy you. So God has put us in a training ground. It's a very, very difficult training ground, but if we can do it, then we can become great. This is what it means to be a tzaddik, not to avoid the challenge and not to unnecessarily put yourself into the challenge, but to be present in the challenge and use it to become greater and more refined. Yes?
Would you say that what you're saying is essentially like that? There are things that our body feels like doing, like our body feels like maybe...
God gave you a body that has bodily needs,
yeah,
and wants.
But we also have a soul, and I think our soul wants something different than what our body wants. So it's like, for instance, like you said, our body might want to eat unhealthy food, but at the end of the day, there's always like our subconscious and like our soul telling us like, we don't really want this. We actually want to be fit and healthy and feel good about ourselves. But our bodies, maybe our taste buds necessarily, feel like experiencing something like candy, sugar, something unhealthy.
Yes.
And I think it's the same thing with like intimacy, people might feel like quickly finding a woman they can, just experience that with quickly, but they don't truly love them. But what we really want,
correct,
is a loving partner.
Which means using that for the right thing.
Yeah.
100%. Uplift that drive. So you have a natural drive. In fact, as a man, if you didn't have that natural drive, that's a problem. But if you're controlled by that drive, that's also a problem. You have to have the drive and control the drive, be a master of the drive, and use it how it's meant to be used. That's it. Exactly. How do we do this? Everything I'm doing, I'm thinking to myself that I'm serving Hashem. Am I doing this in a spiritual way? I'm going to have lunch now. I'm still serving Hashem. It's not, there's a break. And once again, very important when you hear ideas like this, that it's not overwhelming and pressure and, oh no, everything I do, I have to double check myself. Don't do that. Be a healthy person who sees this as an opportunity to have a better relationship with Hashem. And do the best you can. No guilt, no shame, no comparing, no fear. Just saying, look, I understand that throughout my life, the more and more I can do things consciously, the more I'll raise my level of experience of life. I'll have a more spiritually fulfilling life. I just got this guy who reached out to me and said, well, you know what, Rabbi, I'm enjoying the non-halachic life. And I said, I'm sure you are. I'm enjoying the halachic life. I don't think there's anything in the non-halachic life that I can't have in the halachic life. Nice food, physical intimacy, lots of money, traveling the world, like nothing. So you're a bit more free that you can eat any nice food you want. But the nice food that I can't eat, I don't eat because it's not spiritually good for me. So mazel tov, you got to eat bacon, but it's not good for you. Afilu b'shah sh'neisei v'natein v'afilu b'shah sh'boel mivnei shemachshavato b'chol kidei sh'yitzar tzarchav. So when you're doing business or when you're having intimacy, everything we're doing, you're thinking to yourself, yes, there are some basic physical needs that I have to have met, but that you're even using your body to serve Hashem. And my business is an honest business and it's helping people. And I'm kind to my employees. And people come to me and they say, wow, look at this religious Jew. I can trust him. I know he's not going to cheat me. And he treats his staff well. And he's giving 20% of all his income to amazing causes to help uplift the world. So through your business, it's a very, very high level to be able to use your business to help the world. And even when you're asleep, אם ישן לדעת כדי שתנוח דעתו עליו וינוח גופו כדי שלא יחלה ולא יוכל לעבוד את השם ברוך הוא והוא חולה, נמצאת שינה שלא עבודת המקום ברוך הוא. So if you're sleeping in order to say, literally I'm resting my body and I'm resting my mind in order to not get sick and in order to stay strong so that I can serve Hashem in the best possible way, then your sleeping is also avodah Hashem. If you say before you go to sleep, Hashem, I'm sleeping in order to be strong and healthy, to be able to get up in the morning and serve you, every second that you're sleeping is now a mitzvah. Awesome. You don't want to be sleeping too much then, and you don't want to be on your phone before, in bed, when you go to sleep, when you wake up in the morning, but your sleeping itself becomes a mitzvah. Our holy sages say, Kol ma'asecha yiyu l'shem shemayim. Everything you do should be l'shem shemayim. I'm doing this because this is l'shem shemayim. I'm doing it for Hashem. I'm doing it for spirituality. And I'm benefiting from it, obviously. It's not as if I'm serving Hashem and, I lose out and Hashem in some way is gaining. I'm serving Hashem is good for me. You want to serve Hashem. You want to listen to the Master. Havod me'ahava osek b'toyre mitzvahs v'roech b'netivot achma. Someone who's serving out of love. Someone who's serving Hashem just because I love Hashem. My kids, when they do what I tell them to do because they love me, it's a whole different type of relationship. So I'm going to learn Torah, I'm going to do mitzvahs, I'm going to become wise. Lo mibnei davar sheba'olam. Not because people are going to respect me. Oh, you're a rabbi. I'm going to get honor for being a rabbi, or I can show off. I've got an amazing davar Torah, and everyone's like, well, shkoyach. comes from the word shechachti, which means I forgot what you said because you didn't mean it and I wasn't listening really. Pass me the ice cream. And I'm not serving Hashem because I'm afraid of getting punished. And I'm not serving Hashem because then I'll get some merit or reward, either in this world from people respecting me and honoring me, or in the next world. That's not why I'm doing it. This is my favorite line. This comes from the Rambam. Just do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. It's the best. This is the greatest thing I ever hear. Many people are driven by pleasure. I'm doing it because pleasure, and I want a higher pleasure, and it's about my pleasure. Judaism says no. Do the right thing because it's the right thing to do, whether it gives you pleasure or not. Now, obviously, doing the right thing, hopefully, if you're a good person, gives you pleasure. But you're not doing the right thing because it gives you pleasure. You're doing the right thing. Why? Right thing to do. Just do the right thing. This is my favorite line in the whole of Judaism. Oseh ha'emet mipnei shehi ha'emet. Do the right thing. Why? It's the right thing to do. No reward, not because of reward and punishment, not because I'll feel good about myself if I do the right thing. It's just the right thing. What is the right thing to do? Now, in every situation, someone says something not nice to you. Before you react and say something not nice back, take a deep breath. What's the right thing to do? What would Rabbi Moshe Feinstein do in this situation? Forget Rabbi Moshe Feinstein. Never compare yourself to other people. What would the greatest me do in this situation? What would the greatest me do in this situation? And then, in the end, you'll benefit from it, but that's not why you're doing it. And this maila level, this spiritual level is a huge spiritual level. And not every wise person actually reaches this level. You can have someone who's very wise and he knows the whole Talmud and he's teaching Torah and he's doing everything, but he might not reach this level because he's getting so much honor and so much glory. And he minus Avram Avinu, and this is Avram Avinu's level. Shikra'u HaKadosh Baruch Hu Ahavi. Hashem called him my beloved one. Lefi shelo avad ela me'ava. He just served Hashem because he loves Hashem. V'ya ma'ila shetzivanu ba HaKadosh Baruch Hu al yedei Moshe Rabbeinu v'ahavta et Hashem Elokecha b'chol levavecha v'chol nafshecha v'chol me'adecha. This is what the Moshe told us to serve Hashem with our whole heart and our whole soul and everything we have. Close the windows. Do it. I was just enjoying the sound of Jews learning to... but I want you to close the window. Do it. Okay, so now this is our last one on love. The last one on love. It's good stuff. So then we said, once we've let go a little bit of our lustful obsession with things of this world, once again with the right balance, said you can have it but you're not lustfully obsessing after it. Not like your mouth waters when someone says pizza and you're like, ugh. Like, all right, I'll eat pizza, but, well, we'll see. And we said, really, it's a sickness. It's actually a sickness that you're chasing after physical desire all the time and ego desire. You're a sick person. And we said the last time, once you tap into real spiritual levels, you don't want it anymore. You're like, I wish I didn't have to think about that. There's a famous story. Who was it? Who was a big sports fan, and then when he was like 95, he became the Gadol Hador? A big rabbi, big Haredi rabbi. When he was about 90, he made a Sudat Hodaya, a meal of thanks. And I said, why did you make it? He goes, I grew up more modern, and I was a Yankees fan, something like that. And I watched I loved the Yankees. And then I became more religious, moved to Israel, and for 50 years, I haven't seen a Yankees game. I don't know one player who plays for the Yankees. I just felt I didn't want to be drawn after that. I was falling asleep thinking about the Yankees. I wanted to think about holy things. But whenever I heard in passing that the Yankees had won, there was still a little part of me that was like, yes. like I just could not let go. Last night I heard the Yankees won and I didn't feel anything. So I'm making a Suda Sadaya. I finally got rid of the sickness of being controlled by sports results. It's a sickness. People get moody and depressed and upset about people throwing a ball around. It's actually a sickness. And we said last time that some people, it ruins their Shabbos because they're waiting to come out of Shabbos to check the results. So we said, now in our balanced way, watch some sport. It's okay. Go with your friends, have a beer, watch the sport. But don't talk about it all week and get depressed if your team, and then put people down and laugh at people for their team and that. So have that balance. I'm not saying never watch sport again. Be a normal, healthy human being. Yes.
I agree with that. Basing your whole personality and your mood based off of the performance of the team is irrational. But what is the underlying theme that connects tying your mood to a team or just the secular world that's
the underlying thing is that people believe that happiness is the feeling I get when things go my way. If we went round the room right now and I said, what makes you happy? You'd say, women, food, my team wins, being with my family, nice weather, going on vacation, getting the job I want. So Judaism says that's not called happiness, that's called I feel good when I get my way. But people don't understand that true happiness comes from having a positive attitude to life, having gratitude. But because we have this false belief that happiness is getting my way, then we put all of our hopes and dreams and expectations on the external world. And then we spend our whole life trying to make sure that the external world matches up to our expectations. So we have the job and the body and the wife and we have everything we want. If I can get everything I want in the external world, then I'll be happy. So then people spend their whole life, that's my goal now. And therefore, how do you ensure that? Have as much money as you can. Because the more money you have, then you can make sure you've got the car and the. What they don't realize is, however much money you have, that doesn't get rid of your anxiety and your greed and your jealousy and your doubt and your fear, and you always want more money, so it just doesn't work. But that's the sickness. The sickness is this crazy belief that if I get what I want in the external world, that will make me happy. And it doesn't work. So that's why you can still have the balance. You can still, once in a while, I'll watch the highlights of a football match. I support Spurs, Tottenham Hotspur. But I can't say I support them because I haven't watched one match for many, many, many years. I can't name one player. Actually, I can name Richarlison. I can name one player because Binyamin likes him. But when we win, which isn't often, and I still feel a bit strange saying when we win because it's and this is an amazing thing. People, they watch sport and they're like, we won! I'm like, you didn't. You sat on the couch and drank beer, you fat loser. You didn't do anything. Why are you calling it we? Well, what do you mean, Rabbi? I'm loyal to my team. That even if my team goes down, I don't change teams. So I have this character trait of loyalty, which is a good thing, by the way. But how about loyalty to Hashem? How about loyalty to yourself? How about loyalty to your wife, that you're not going to be so loyal to your team that you forget her birthday? So, yes, watch sport and enjoy sport, but don't make a life of it. Yeah.
So I just think it was really interesting what you said. If you're too focused on physical pleasures and things of that nature, it ultimately becomes a sickness, you said. And as you see, in society today, most people that what do we call that? We call that mental illness, right? When you start, people claim to have mental illnesses when essentially, for instance, a person like you said who's really, really obsessed with sports. But they keep craving physical pleasure until they start, betting on their sports team, which is something, at least where I'm growing up, I see that all the time, everywhere, and that just leads to just more mental illness, and you see people checking to rehab.
This is where depression and anxiety comes from.
Right. So you use the word sickness, and it just made me think about how in modern day we call that mental illness, and most people claim they have mental illnesses. But the truth is, they're just not tackling the real, problems and what they really want. What they're doing is they're just going after, essentially, I guess.
And to understand that this was written 500 years ago. There are no screens then. Once you understand that it's a sickness and you heal yourself from your sickness, as yela o ba'atzma v'koyach benafsha. Once you just let go of that, chasing, the constant chasing, you actually reveal an immense peace of mind, an immense inner light, an immense power to your soul. V'nefesh hi malei ahava, and your soul is just full of love, so full of love. But you can never experience your natural state of love because you're chasing more women, more money, more something. When I get more, then I'll be happy. V'ota ahava kashura b'simcha, and that love in your soul is tied into simcha, which means real happiness. Not the happiness of my team winning or getting the job. That's not called happiness. Just the natural state of when you're truly in love, it's very happy. You see people who are in love, they're like bouncing around. I just had the best date with this girl. You're just bouncing around. Then this person that you hate and they annoy you and they say something bad to you. You just had a date with a girl. You're just like, I love you, man. You just give them a hug. Usually you'd want to punch them in the face. But once you just had the date with the girl of your dreams, you're like, you're cool, man. I love you. I feel it. Because once you're full of love and you're full of joy, then the external world doesn't affect you so much. Yes?
I guess I'm still curious more on like there's a line between like detachment of the external world, like you gave the example with the sports team, how that can negatively affect you. And then I understand the idea of for like true happiness, it has to be like an internal thing. But then obviously like a relationship or going on a date with a girl is still external to an extent, so sort of where is the line of...
Great, so I'm not relying on the date with the girl to be a happy person, but when I have a date, I feel good.
I see.
So it's two different words in Hebrew. One's called simcha, which is a consistent state of joy, just because you have a good attitude to life and you tapped into your soul. Then there's something called sason, which is I feel good when I meet a nice girl. But sason always goes up and then comes down, whereas simcha is always consistent. But
would sason still technically fall under the sports example? That's just like a knock.
Sport is only sason, but only if you win. If you win, it's sason. If you lose, it's depression, and then you are horrible to your wife. Sason. Anything that's maybe if you marry her.
But also, Rabbi, if you're having a spiritual connection with the girl, like I think there's a huge difference between if you're just going on a date with a girl, and maybe you enjoyed the time, but you can't consider yourself like truthfully, like maybe there's a difference between going on a date with a girl and at the end of it, I think like your example where you're like overwhelmed with joy and you're so incredibly happy, it's because you fed your soul because you
Yes, that's why in Jewish dating there's no touching. You don't touch until you're under the chuppah.
Exactly.
It's a beautiful, beautiful, powerful thing.
Right.
Because it creates true love and connection. In general, in the Western secular world, if a guy goes on a date, he's got one thing in mind: what do I have to say? When do I make my move? In Judaism, you're not making your move until you're married. So that takes that all out of the way, and you're sitting opposite someone with one goal in mind: is this going to be my soulmate? Is this going to be the mother of my children? There's no, I'm going to say the right thing to be cool and cute. You're not getting her into bed, baby. You're not even touching her. There's not even, what base can I get to? You're not getting to any bases, baby. Nothing. You're not touching her hand. You're nothing. No bases. It's awesome. It changes the date. Now there's a different date now. A date, and it's very poor. It's very, very pure.
focusing on better things.
ואויתה שמחה מברכת מעל לבבו נעימות הגוף ותענוג העולם. And then when you tap into true simcha, then you're not so driven by your sports team. You just naturally, it's less exciting to you. If you met that girl of your dreams, and then one of your friends says, "Come on, let's go to that restaurant," you just be like, "What? I want to be with the girl of my dreams. It's just not that exciting to me anymore." When your life is so lacking in real pleasure, then you need temporary, superficial, external pleasures. So I need to get more. But once you actually have the true pleasure of Shabbos, Kodesh, and the true pleasure of Tefillin, and the true pleasure of saying brachas, and the true pleasure of helping people, then I'm not so interested in that. In fact, I don't want it so much. I actually find it a bit less. And then you get to the stage where it's actually a little bit disgusting to you. Even speaking Lashon Hara, saying bad things about people. Once you tap into your own love and joy, it's not like I then have to stop myself saying bad things about people. It's just that I have no interest in saying bad things about people. It's so below me, it's like disgusting to me. I just don't want it anymore. V'oter simcha azal mizgaberet alavavo, and then the simcha grows, and that you just got to get into a positive upward spiral. The simcha grows, and then you've realized I'm cured. I'm actually cured of my constant craving external validation and pleasure. I'm not. And that means when you do have it, you actually enjoy it more because you're not needing it. So you can have your piece of chocolate, your chocolate cake, but you'll enjoy it more when you don't need it. When you're just like, I'm choosing to have this, and I'm going to use this to connect to Hashem as well. I'm going to eat consciously. So it's complete freedom from the slavery of your body. And all of the pleasures of this world are like, so what? They're nothing. Amazing. Once you've really tapped into true love, it's not so exciting to me. Once you put on your tefillin, how you're meant to put on your tefillin, you love putting on your tefillin, then I'm not sucked in by flashing. Someone said, I heard it, most people wake up in the morning and they look at an 8-inch screen, and then they get to work and they're looking at a 15-inch screen, and then they come home and they look at a 32-inch screen, and then they get back into bed and they're looking at an 8-inch screen and they go to sleep. Is that really what you were made for? Your soul came into this body to look at a flashing rectangle? And how much of what you're looking at on that flashing rectangle is actually making you a happy, kind, healthy person? Not doing it so much for you. So fine. So it says, "Ve'ein ahava zois miskayemet ela b'misha notein dato lekayem kol mitzvot chatam." And this type of love, real love, ein ahava HaKadosh Baruch Hu niksheret b'libo shel adam ad sheyishgeh ba tamid. This type of love, of spirituality, you've got to keep investing in it. Keep investing. A bracha. Putting on your tefillin and sitting and breathing and meditating with your tefillin on. Saying Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad and really actually meaning it. If you don't get a consistent practice, but small things, consistent small practice, then you'll never get it into your heart. And now it says an amazing thing. Keitzad hi ahava ra'uya. What is the fitting type of love? She'e'ov et Hashem ahava gedola. You should love Hashem with extreme love, aza me'od, very strong. Ad she'tei nafsho kshur ba'avaz Hashem yitbarach v'nimsa shoyge ba'tamed ki ilu chayle chale ahava she'en data panuya me'ahavat odo. So that you're crazy, you're lovesick. You're lovesick like you are for a woman. When you're in love with a woman, you can't stop thinking about her. All day you just think about her. What should I get her? I want to buy her this, I'm going to do this. You can't stop thinking. We want to start being spiritually alive, spiritual love. Can't stop thinking about Hashem. Can't stop thinking about mitzvahs. Can't stop thinking about Shabbos. Can't stop thinking about bracha. This is what I'm thinking about. Not, I can't stop thinking about what people think about me. Can't stop thinking about how well my team is doing. Can't stop thinking about the stock exchange. Can't stop thinking about... Yes, you should stop thinking about those things. You should be, I can't stop thinking about Shabbos. How can I get closer to Shabbos? How can I become a nicer, more refined, healthy person? That's what you're now thinking about. So your whole consciousness of your mind has transformed from thinking about sports and women and money and career and all those stuff, and now you're just thinking about very lofty, uplifting stuff. But of course, you still have to have a career, so you have to put in the work as well. But you're doing it just from a much loftier place, and you're seeing how is this tapping me into my actual spiritual avodah and connecting to Hashem. We have now come to an end of Shaar Ahava, the gate of love. And tomorrow we start Shaar Hasina, the gate of hatred. Shabbos.